Open up to questions for Bruce. Please wait for the mic, say your name, affiliation. We'll take two from Chris off the top, then Danny, then Jesse.
Hey, Bruce. Chris Chapman, Fox Sports Las Vegas. We know you weren't happy with the third period the other night, and I'm guessing probably not the start that you wanted tonight. So how important is it to have that leadership in the locker room and guys who hold each other accountable?
Yeah, we talked a bit about it, that our details, our stopping and starting, slot battle wasn't good enough in the first period, but also that kind of at the point of the year that where we are in the standings, some teams are looking at us and saying, hey, we're going into their building, we better be ready to play. This is, if they're, I assume some teams are saying that. We have to own that. And we've earned that respect around the league, but you got to be prepared every night. You're not going to get too many easy passes. So that's what I feel is happening a little bit. And we weren't ready to start. So we talked about it. We started the second very well. We went to the front of the net, right? We get rewarded. Now, didn't expect Nick's goal to go in, but what Nick did well, Hag, was he kept the puck alive. We talked about being on our toes. Stoney's should go in. He goes to the net. It's a good high-end play. And you get rewarded and you start going from there. So they respond well. They know what's going on. I think they're good students of the game, and they can hold themselves accountable and self-analyze well enough to know that wasn't good enough. My job to remind them.
Mark had mentioned that Alexander Holtz is impacting the game in other ways, not just scoring. He obviously scores a big goal tonight to stretch the lead to 4-1, but then he blocks that shot and he ends up having to go to the room. So, what have you seen from him, maybe in spite of him not putting pucks in the net, that you've liked?
Well, the conversations with Alex early on, we didn't know him. What are we getting? He scored some goals. There's talent there, we know, but where does he fit with us? So we've used him at different spots. And at the end of the day, you have to help us win, Alex. That's it. When you're on the ice, if you're not in a scoring situation where you're not finding the pucks. And I thought early in the year the puck did find him a lot. It just didn't go in. There were some crossbars and posts there. And so that's it. It's either physicality, it's forecheck reloads, it's doing your job defensively. He's blocked some, it's more than one now that he's thrown his body in front of. So that's an area of the game he's trying to take some pride in. So good for him. He's looking around going, well, this is what I can do. If I can turn my 10 minutes into 11 minutes, by doing that and the coach trusting me, then that's how I'm going to get on the ice more. And that's it. That's a sign of, to me, someone that cares and they want to get on more. So I was happy to see that puck go in because not a whole lot have for him, but and he can score. We're trying to build in a little more of a role in the power play. We don't get that many. The bumper spot with Nick Waugh and Barbie being out, who are usually on the second unit a lot. So they just haven't got much ice time, unfortunately. But he had a good look the other night from the slot against, someone put it in there, Pav, against Montreal. Yeah, just the last game. So that's good. And goal scorers need to score eventually. He's one of those guys. But good on him to not cheat and find, like I said, something where he can hang his hat on for now, and when he leaves the rink, say, hey, I helped us win tonight by doing so and so. That's, to me, a sign of a good teammate.
Danny, Jesse, Adam.
Bruce, Danny Webster, Las Vegas Review-Journal. You touched on teams coming into the building, understanding where you are in the standings, and coming in out of the second period for top line to get that shift, Jack to make that move to get to Mark for the goal. Is that a good reminder that even though you haven't had the scoring from the top guys as of late while you've been winning, that they can still impact in a way that way?
Well, of course, and they want to. I think it's been a month of, defending well, staying in the game when you're not on your A game, right? And that was Montreal. We were a B game, and unfortunately a few lower than that. But in general, I didn't think Montreal was on their A game either. It was kind of a B game that they did enough things to win. Tonight it started like that, and it's like, okay, well, we can't hang our hat on that, let's get going here a little bit. So mix of A and B games. You might have the odd guy with a C game that you got to keep your eye on, but in general, you get those types of performances because no one's on their A game every night. Very rarely is your whole team clicking at the same time. So we got going, and those are the guys that are going to start it, right? They're the guys we lean on to get us going, get us excited, and we've had all kinds of contributions this year. It's why we're at, and today was a good example. The guy gets the next one, and I don't know if you had him, Danny, on your bingo card for the next goal. So But that's what's happening with us. Whitey got us going the other night in Montreal. So there's different guys, and Holtz gets one tonight, which I thought was an important goal. You're not coming back like Montreal did the other night. We're going to keep playing, and so good for him. So I think that's what's happened to us. But it does take your leaders, someone to step up, whether it's a goaltender making a timely save, or your top guys getting you excited and getting the crowd into it, and away you go, and that's kind of what happened.
Jesse.
Hi, Bruce. Jesse Granger at The Athletic. Hague scores from behind the goal line. It just seems like lately, and especially tonight, White Cloud and Hannafin, the defensemen are really carrying the puck deep into the offensive zone. Is that something you're asking from those guys, or is that something that the defense is just giving them?
Not necessarily carrying it. I mean, if you look at Hague's play, it was more of an off-net situation where we want them getting down there to keep it alive, and I think him and Coley had an exchange there. As long as the forward's covering, we want them to keep pucks alive. And Hanny, in the first period, I think the one he drove deep there and kind of squirted through the legs and almost went in was a similar situation. Sometimes it's a face-off play where they're rolling down, and sometimes it is a rush. The rushes are usually joining, like Whitey's goal the other night. Hanny's goal was more of recognizing time and late in the period, slipping in with a winger that got outside the dots. He got inside. So what we're encouraging them to is play on their toes. I don't know if you want too many guys leading the rush, because then the forwards end up kind of, waiting to see what's going on. It's more about supporting the rush. It's going to happen. They're going to lead the rush, but generally move it, follow it, and be the next wave, or fourth man's ice as we call it. And they're doing a good job keeping pucks alive. We decided after the first period we need to be better at, because what Philly was doing every time they got a loose puck on a situation, they were sending their forwards out and high flipping and trying to transition that way. But if you can pin them in there a little bit longer, that takes away a bit of that part of the game. So we did that better as the game went on and kind of showed up in the second period.
Adam Hill, Las Vegas Review-Journal. I know you don't want to lose any games, but do you sometimes need a reminder, a teaching tool to the players to say, hey, this is what happens if you take 5-10 minutes off in a game?
Well, honestly, we teach after most every game. Some of the teaching is less, and it's more reinforcing the positive when you're going well. But during that stretch of December, there was lots of days we had to go in and talk about, okay, this is why we didn't get off to a good start, et cetera. But there are good teachable moments when you lose, let's face it, right? So, and you tend to get the players' attention better when you lose. So that's the advantage of losing. I don't like losing. I could throw that advantage out the window. I'd rather win, and then remind the guys. I think with our group, they understand that. They're not going to walk home tonight and say they played a perfect game by any means. So we'll talk a bit about the first period, move on, get ready for Buffalo. But yes, there's teachable moments when you lose, and sometimes what we did is almost the opposite. We got away from the rink for almost 2 days because it was an afternoon game and New Year's Eve, so we let them sort of breathe a little bit and get back. But there's other days where you're going to work the next day and practice, and hey, we need to support the puck better here, here, and here. So that's kind of what happens during the course of the year. But I see where you're going with it, and yes, coaches use those moments to get the players' attentions. And sometimes it works out for you, and sometimes it might take 2 or 3, to be honest with you. That doesn't happen to us too often, but hopefully not again this year, to be honest with you.
Thanks, Bruce.
Thank you.